Section: Introduction. In this section, we discuss why online platforms moderate content and the methods they use, such as manual decisions by humans or automated decisions through algorithms. Manual decisions have limitations like subjectivity and inconsistency, while automated approaches can make decisions at scale. Toxicity scoring is a common method for automated moderation, where content is evaluated for offensiveness or harmfulness. However, these models often perform poorly on language from marginalized groups, leading to unintended consequences like content removal or account suspension. Generative language models, GLMs, have become popular but can generate offensive content. To address this, toxicity scoring is used to filter out harmful outputs. However, this filtering can also impact access to relevant information for users. Platforms often lack transparency in how they use toxicity scoring, leading to negative outcomes for users. We propose algorithmic recourse in dialogue applications to give users more control over toxicity scoring. This feedback mechanism allows users to set their own tolerances for engaging with content, which can help mitigate biases and support language reclamation efforts. Our pilot study shows promising results in empowering users without burdening them. Our goal is to provide users in GLM dialogue settings with the ability to override toxicity thresholds for specific phrases while still protecting them from harmful content. We introduce a dynamic thresholding system with 2 thresholds to filter out content based on different risks. Our mechanism allows users to interact with content within their personal toxicity tolerances, informing future norms or models for toxicity. By offering users the option to preview and choose how to handle flagged content, we aim to empower users in controlling their exposure to toxic language. This approach allows users to make informed decisions about the content they engage with, promoting inclusivity and empowerment in online interactions. Section Summary. In this section, we introduce the concept of algorithmic recourse in the context of providing users with control over toxicity thresholds in dialogue settings involving generative language models, GLMs. Our proposed mechanism allows users to set individual specific tolerances for engaging with content, offering a way to override toxicity thresholds for specific phrases while still safeguarding users from exposure to toxic language based on predetermined static thresholds. By enabling users to interact with content within their personal toxicity tolerances, we aim to empower users, mitigate biases resulting from toxicity scoring, and facilitate language reclamation in GLM domains. Section: Methodology. In this section, we will discuss our study design and methodology. Our study protocol was approved by the Human Behavioral Research Ethics Committee at Google DeepMind. We recruited 8 volunteers from internal groups at Google DeepMind who were interested in socio-technical research and responsible AI. All participants gave their informed consent to take part in the study. The aim of our pilot study was to test the feasibility of a new recourse mechanism and gather initial data for future research. The study involved an experimental condition and a control condition where each participant experienced both conditions in a random order. In the control condition, a fixed thresholding system was used to moderate conversational agent outputs, while the recourse condition implemented a dynamic thresholding system. Both conditions used the same materials and procedures, with participants chatting with a conversational agent about the topic of identity. After each conversation, participants completed a questionnaire to provide feedback on the usability and perceived control of the system. Our research questions focused on whether algorithmic recourse could improve the usability of the dialogue agent and what themes emerged from participants' experiences with the system. We recorded all messages exchanged between participants and the conversational agents. In the recourse condition, we also recorded participant choices and the word bank of blocked and approved n-grams. To assess usability, we used the System Usability Scale, SUS, a set of 10 questions with a 5-point rating scale. Participants also answered multiple choice questions about usability, perceived control, and costs of recourse. Our quantitative analysis included computing descriptive statistics such as mean and standard deviation of message counts and toxicity scores. We also analyzed participant choices in the recourse condition to understand their preferences. Linear mixed regressions were used to evaluate differences between the two thresholding approaches in terms of SUS scores and questionnaire responses. Section Summary. In this section, we conducted a pilot study at Google DeepMind to explore the feasibility of a dynamic thresholding system for moderating conversational agent outputs. The study involved an experimental condition with the dynamic thresholding system and a control condition with a fixed thresholding system, aiming to gather preliminary data on the usability and perceived controllability of the proposed mechanism. We employed a within-participants design where each participant experienced both conditions in a randomized order, engaging in conversations on the topic of identity, with a GLM-based conversational agent and providing feedback through a system usability scale questionnaire and other measures. Section: Qualitative Analysis. In this section, we utilized inductive thematic analysis to comprehend how participants perceived recourse based on their responses to open-ended questions. We first read through the participant responses and then created codes during a second read. These codes varied in length from a phrase to multiple sentences. Our coding process ensured that segments did not overlap, although multiple codes could be assigned to a single segment. Once we reached a consensus on the codes, we conducted a final read of the participant responses to confirm and finalize the coding. After excluding 3 participants who failed an attention check, our analysis included a final sample of 23 participants. Across different conditions, the number of interactions, their length, and the level of toxicity remained relatively consistent. The average interaction count was 24 for the control condition and 21 for the recourse condition. There was little variation in word and character counts between the conditions. Similarly, toxicity scores did not show significant differences between the conditions. To evaluate the effectiveness of dynamic thresholding, we examined participant choices in the recourse condition. Participants overwhelmingly chose to view potentially toxic content and adjust the agent's filtering thresholds for future messages. As a result, the conversational agent triggered toxicity filtering less frequently under the dynamic threshold system compared to the control condition. This indicates a strong preference for increased control over toxicity filtering when participants have access to recourse. Analysis of System Usability Scale (SUS) scores supported the notion that algorithmic recourse can enhance the usability of conversational agents. Participants rated the conversational agent in the recourse condition as easier to use compared to the control condition. However, participants expressed difficulty in modifying model outputs using the recourse mechanism, suggesting a gap between expectations and user experience. Participants' open-ended feedback revealed key insights into algorithmic recourse in conversational settings. Some participants struggled to understand how toxicity filtering functioned, leading to frustration with the default responses. Additionally, instances where the model resisted conversational requests highlighted its limitations and artificiality. Participants also pointed out biases in the behavior of the toxicity scoring algorithm, indicating the need to empower users to challenge such biases effectively.